All right, Brady. I got to look at this video, and then I looked at your video from your dad. I guess it was last night or something, hitting in the cages. It's kind of the same deal, so I don't need to go over both of them. I just want to show you what we're working on. It's very small, and so I'm going to show you what we need to be working on. Like if I look at your swing right here, now let's slow it down and see why that's leaking a little bit. All right, so what you got as a load going right here, it's just a little relaxation bow like that. I think it's a little big. In my opinion, I don't think it needs to be that much to find your hip. And I think we talked about the other day, I might would start a little more here, just where that's a smaller load. That's for as you're getting older and getting better pitching. You don't need to be moving that much. And I think we talked about the first time I saw you, instead of starting so 50-50, start just a little more back in it where you're loaded. But watch here when you pick your foot up. It's kind of hard to see with a white shirt, but watch how when you pick up, you have that little crunch right there that's trying to get in that hip. That crunch right here is the cause of your leaking, is the cause of your hip not really leading all the time. So easy fix, it's understanding where your true load is, where you feel like you're actually loaded. So in my opinion, watching this, right there, you are completely loaded right there. That is your loaded position. Your foot should still be on the ground. You should have loaded that on the ground. Now we're going to pick up our foot. All right, but since you don't do that yet, let's watch. So you have that little crunch is what I call the delay. You're not fully attacking with your back hip when you pick up yet because you have that little bit of a crunch. And believe me, with as many hitters as I see, this is not sloppy. This is just a little tweaking, okay? All right, so now when you land, boom. I think your foot's completely down right there. Yep. You're slightly collapsed, slightly out front. Now we're leaving our hands a little bit, so kind of an arm bar, not bad, but that's my least of my worries. It's more this leaking right here. So now when you go to swing, you got a great mechanical swing. Your path and everything, the way you go is great. But that hip could be working a lot better. So your launch position, so if we're locked in and we get to that true up right there before you kick, now when you come back down, this is where you're going to be. Completely centered back. Now that hip will lead us, okay? As of right now, you leak a tad on fastball. And boy, that gets us in trouble as we start getting older, okay? Because instead of running to balls and crashing, we have to set that rhythm and let that hip lead. But that little crash right there, or that little leak right there, is what's causing you not to just be where you need to be, because your swing's there. Look at that. That swing is pretty. Very nice. Don't grip till you rip. Picture perfect right there. All right, let's go to the next one, though. Let's see. So again, just to make sure you're clear on what I'm wanting. I don't want you to change anything other than the timing of what you're doing. So that's why I don't want you confused, Brady. We're not changing anything you do, really, okay? You've already done a good job with your hand. Now, I'm going to talk about your hands after this one, but hold on. Let's watch this one more time. So you pick your foot up, and then it finishes that little bit of load right there, which causes you to leak out of this position too early and to leak slightly right there. So now I throw you a breaking ball, and you're going to have a hard time catching up. I throw you hard in, good luck. And I'm talking about with velocity. So it's just, it puts a hole in our swing. So, you know, just by that little, we shouldn't be leaking on fastballs now. Just kind of understanding that as a hitter. We need to be landing in that position. Sorry, it's not very straight. In that position. That position right there, all you got to do is make a turn, okay? Now let's talk about the hands a little bit. When I love where they're at, I love what you're doing. I just don't want them to get a little tight. See, you're gripping right there pretty much. And I don't want that grip to truly happen. Remember, we're not going to be truly gripping until that hip gets us there. Then that grip takes off. And that's just a slight. Again, Brady, I wouldn't even worry about that right now. We'll get to that if that's a problem. I want you to be focused strictly on getting in this position. Dun, 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 right. There. That's where you're completely cooled on that back leg. That will hold you here long enough to read a ball and then put you down here instead of here. Sounds simple, because it is, but it's up to you really fast, because I can't force that feel on you on knowing exactly when you're loaded, but getting your eyes on this, I think, will really help you. Again, the way you swing a bat's good. So I don't want you thinking. I don't want you this weekend playing. Don't even worry about anything. Know what we're working on, so we can drive the ball a little better. But until then, I think with this swing right here, you can go out and just put balls in play and put them in the holes and get base hits all day long. I'm talking about your future. You can get a lot better, a lot quicker just by fixing positioning. But we shouldn't struggle this weekend because of anything we've talked about. Because we're not changing really anything. We're getting, the only thing I'm preaching to you right now is to get completely loaded, which you're almost, man, you're right on the verge. Completely loaded before you pick that foot up, so you don't have this little boom. See that little bump right there? That little hiccup. That's what gets your rhythm quick and out of there. We're wanting that rhythm to be your timing. So we don't want anything making it crash. So watch this little crash. Again, if I am right there on the ground still, now I pick up. Look at that leg, how loaded it is. That back hip is completely cooled in there, loaded, powerful. So then when you pick up, again, you'll be able to stay here a hair longer in your rhythm for true balance and come down like that instead of like that. That is it, my friend. And see that right there, look at that. That made you miss hit that ball because you leaked right there, tightened up. You gripped a little early. We'll keep talking about that. But that's why you got to that ball right there instead of out there at contact, or right there. Hope you get the point. Again, after these little things like this, when we're talking, ask me questions, text me, anything you want. I'm here for you. But again, let me go to the next one. I'm gonna go one more. I'm gonna make sure you got this, brother, because I feel like sometimes you might be a little confused, but you shouldn't be, because we're not changing. So we're not changing how you look. Again, if I were you, I would set up just a little further back, just so it's easier, because it's not giving you more power to low bigger. But that's your preference, man. But again, we're going to stay on the ground, stay on the ground. That's your loaded position. See where that leg locked in right there, that back? Watch this back leg, how it locks right there. That's where you should be picking up from to create that balance to keep us back. But mechanically, don't worry about anything. You're good. All right, brother.